NASA just dodged brutal cuts, private money is reshaping propulsion, the moon is about to get a lot more crowded, and SpaceX keeps turning launch cadence and constellation management up to 11. Welcome to Dragonfire. Here's what's happening in space. NASA's budget flight, a classic rocket brand reborn, a moon rush of private landers, SpaceX moving thousands of satellites for safety, and Florida smashing launch records. First, L3Harris is carving up its space portfolio, and private equity is reviving a legendary name. AE Industrial Partners is buying 60% of L3Harris's space propulsion and power system business in a deal valued at $845 million. While L3Harris keeps a 40% stake and retains the RS-25 engine that powers NASA's SLS for Artemis. AE plans to bring back the Rocketdyne brand to house hardware like RL-10 upper stage engines, electric propulsion, and even nuclear surface and in-space power concepts aimed at Mars and cislunar operations. On the Hill, NASA just got its lifeline. A new minibus spending bill gives NASA about $24.4 billion for full year 2026, slightly below recent levels but far above the Trump administration's proposal for only $18.8 billion that would have slashed science and space tech almost in half. Science stays near 2025 levels, space tech lands around $920 million, and there's targeted money for nuclear, thermal, and nuclear electric propulsion, fission surface power for the moon, and commercial space station, even as Mars sample return is restructured into future mission tech work. 2026 is shaping up as a commercial moon rush, with multiple private landers trying to stick the landing. Blue Origin's Blue Moon Mark 1 Pathfinder aims for the lunar South Pole on a New Glenn launch, proving out precision landings and propulsion for cargo landers that can haul roughly 3,000 kilograms and supporting NASA's human landing system ambitions. Firefly's Blue Ghost M2 will ride a Falcon 9 to the far side of the moon, carrying NASA CLPS payloads, ESA's Lunar Pathfinder in lunar orbit, UAE's Rashid Rover 2, and VoltaSpace wireless power demo, using Firefly's Electra as comms. Intuitive Machines will fly IM-3 to the Reiner Gamma region with magnetometers and plasma instruments after its earlier Odysseus and Athena landers tipped over, while Astrobotic's Griffin 1 heads to the South Pole. In low Earth orbit, SpaceX is about to move a huge chunk of Starlink. Roughly 4,400 Starlink satellites now fly around 550 kilometers, will be lowered to about 480 kilometers over 2026 to cut ballistic decay times from years to just a few months as solar activity heads towards minimum. Starlink's VP of Engineering says lowering below 500 kilometers condenses the constellation and drops collision risk because there's less debris and fewer other constellations at that altitude. And any failed satellites fall out of orbit much faster. Back on the Space Coast, launch cadence is getting wild. Florida closed 2025 with a record 109 orbital launches from Cape Canaveral and Kennedy, up from 93 in 2024 and 72 in 2023, with SpaceX's Falcon 9 responsible for 101 of those flights. SpaceX set up a new pad turnaround record of about 50 hours between two Falcon 9 missions from the same pad, while Space Force leaders are already planning multi-billion-dollar infrastructure upgrades to support more than 300 launches a year from the Eastern Range by 2036. So in 1 week, private equity brings back Rocketdyne, Congress keeps NASA's exploration engine running, private landers crowd the 2026 lunar calendar, Starlink reconfigures for safety, and Florida's launch tempo keeps pushing towards airline-like operation. This is Dragonfire. Subscribe if you want to be on the edge of space policy, capital, and hardware.